Stories of ACES podcast, a collaboration between the Office of Equity and Inclusion and the Marketing Department. I'm your host, Kevin Walton. Our guest today is none other than Executive Director, Dr. Tom Danehy. Welcome, Tom, and thanks for agreeing to share your story with the ACES community.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, no, this is really exciting. You know, yesterday we had Tim Howes, and he talked about him being a Red Sox fan, and then I think today you were talking about being a Yankee fan. So I think that's the yin and the yang of our top two executives here at ACES.
That's what's wrong with him, for starters. Yeah, exactly.
Clearly, but as a Mets fan, I would say that's what's wrong with the both of you. Anyway, so as executive director, obviously, and it's akin to being a superintendent, you have a huge responsibility running this organization. So while your experiences are vast, can you talk about your major responsibilities as the executive director?
Yeah, so I look at it as though we need to deliver for our constituents. And the constituents, I would include students, I would include school districts, superintendents, directors of special ed, everybody out there who needs either direct educational support or ACES to fulfill what it needs to do in their mission. Okay. And I think all of their missions are similar. I don't think they're dissimilar, but I see my work as trying to align resources to help to make that happen. And if we could do it creatively and with a little added oomph or power or outcome, all the better for the customers out there, whether they're students or parents or school districts. So that's what I see my role.
Yeah. So as given our model of being a school but also a business, do you feel yourself split do you see yourself just as a superintendent, or do you also see yourself as kind of a businessman?
I see myself as a superintendent, probably primarily. I see myself as a business person to the extent that I have a responsibility to deliver for everybody who's using our services and for our employees. Okay. So we get paid every other Thursday. There better be enough money in the bank to pay Kevin Walton's paycheck, otherwise, everybody else who's out there.
Absolutely. David.
Otherwise, David too. Otherwise, where's this going? But people need to be rewarded for the work that they do. And I think what's great about work at ACES, when you look at the people we serve and what the needs are, there's a lot of joy in helping people to become their best selves, especially people with challenges, whether they're physically or disabled in some way. I think there's a lot of rewards in that. What's interesting, too, about ACES is the camaraderie among the staff and how they learn from each other. Sure. In most cases. So with 1,100 employees, we might have a little rift here and there, but by and large, people seem to like to go to work, and I recognize this in the interviews we did last summer. People like to come to work and work with their colleagues, sure. And that's a benefit, I think, for everybody, whether it's at a local school level or in a larger department, but I think that's important. And I think one of the great unifying factors for ACES is the focus on the common wheel, especially for people with either special needs or some folks out there who might be looking for something different from what their local school district has to offer. Not that the local school district isn't doing a good job of it, but for many of our students and people we work with, ACES is a special place for a reason much bigger than what might be out there in a local district.
Yeah, I think when you talk to people, I think it's connected to the mission.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and that's very important. So we learned about the executive director, but who is Tom Danehy?
So Tom Danehy, I guess, is a little like the Wizard of Oz, because when you peel away the curtain, there's a little guy over there. So that's me. Not that it's all fake, but there is, who am I? I guess I'm just like everybody else out there, and I've learned a lot over the years. I've been working in a variety of different capacities related to education. although I never intended to be an educator at all. My parents were educators, both teachers in West Haven, and I wanted something different. So I wanted to be a lawyer ever since I was in 4th grade. And I went to law school and graduated, passed the bar. Hated law school, didn't like legal work to the most, it's the greatest extent. And I found that my day work, I went to law school at night, my day work as a teacher, I started as a teacher in New Haven. My day work was a lot more rewarding for me. But one thing about Tom Danehy is that I don't think I'm overly competitive, but I'm competitive, and all you have to do, Kevin, to make me do something, I'm a little like my mother, is tell me I can't do something, and I'm going to just work it until I get it done. So I guess I have a little grit and steadfastness to a cause, and I like a challenge. So that could be a really good thing, that could be a really not so good thing.
Well, if you find you're able to find the balance.
Find the balance,
right?
that's good.
I got you. All right. So what's unique about you?
What's unique about me? All you have to do is ask my wife. After 31 years, she could probably go on and on. I don't generally do the same thing in a row, twice in a row. Okay. So, for example, I'll drive home a different way. Not every day. I mean, there's only so many ways you can go, but I don't really have any pattern for the time and how I get there. It's going to be by a road, but I don't usually take the same road twice. I'll try different ways. I don't know if I get bored with it. I guess I'm the opposite of my father. My father did the same thing for years and years and years, and that would make me a little crazy. So I think I'm too... maybe too random abstract to be stuck in a routine. I can't say that I like routine other than 3 cups of coffee before I go to work in the morning. That's clearly a routine.
So now we know, all right, 3 cups of coffee and don't follow him home because he's going to go a different way.
I'll go a different way every day.
All right. And so it's interesting because you referenced both your parents and taking some traits from them. So, and how did that shape you to who you are?
Good question. I'm definitely more like my mother. Like I said about that, you just had to tell my mother she couldn't do something, and come hell or high water, it was going to be done, which I admire. My father, I never really admired that same thing every day, and he, I think, kind of thrived with it. So I don't understand that whole side, but... It's kind of interesting.
It's interesting that just...
But my wife is very consistent in her patterns, and so I think that's one of the things I admire about her, in that she's able to do the same thing in a routine, same schedule, lockstep.
It works.
Disciplined. Yeah, I'm not very disciplined.
It works.
In that.
31 years of marriage, so it works. Right?
Yeah, right. The opposites attract.
Sure. Okay, so what are some of the experiences that have helped shape who you are and the lenses which you see the world?
I guess growing up, my father would always say, root for the underdog, and I guess I never knew what he meant. And then, the politics of the last 5 years or so, or 10 years, that threw me for a loop. But I guess my mother, too, the family always, all my brother and my sisters worked in jobs that were designed to help people. So I think that's important. It's something we learned from my parents, which I think was a good thing. Although I can't say in every case that came out, if that makes sense. But I suppose we were always interested as a family in helping others, whatever we could add.
Okay. Yeah. So and so is that what, although you like you said you didn't necessarily have a desire to teach, and is that what kind of led you down that road, that desire to help?
Yeah, so I guess if you're an attorney, you're helping people, but I can't ever picture myself as a divorce attorney, like helping someone. I guess marriages can be bad enough that you definitely want it and need a divorce, but I didn't see a greater good being served in something like that. Not that all law is divorce law, but I thought teaching was much more, I don't know, it was more fun, it was more interactive with students, there were a lot of issues to take care of, but it was also about teaching and learning and watching kids grow, and that I found a lot of, I guess, esteem from that. I never really practiced law full time, so I guess I can't answer that question, but it wasn't my original desire to teach.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I think as we wind down, that's all we have for you today.